once sang that it's all about soul, and this week it is. The Kia Soul. Now, the Kia Soul has a sister car in the e-Niro, a car that we really enjoy, and it's also got its cousin, the Hyundai Kona, another car that we've tested and really like. So, does the Soul bring something new to the band, making it a worthy frontman, or is it just relegated to being a bit of a backing singer? Watch this episode and let's see how many Billy Joel songs we can integrate into a car review. Now, this is the second generation Soul, but it does follow the same line as the first in the fact that it's a 5-door, tall-bodied crossover style family car. But this time, rather than just offering petrol, diesel and electric, Kia have brought the car back to the UK with the second generation car as electric only. It is available in other markets with the internal combustion engines, but not here. Now, like the first generation car, the car probably divides a lot of opinion in terms of its styling. It's a bit of a love it or loathe it car. I personally love it, but they've really gone well with the new redesign, from its sort of grumpy stormtrooper front end to these very distinctive sort of aero alloy wheels, and I've loved this window line that just comes along and sweeps up to the back, almost touching the roof line, and the rear's got a really distinctive lamp design as well. All the rear lights, very distinctive. Now, the car in the UK only comes in 3 colours, which is either black, blue or white. The white and the black cars get the contrasting red tops to the mirrors and the roof. The blue car gets a black contrast to the mirrors and roof. Now, that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but then let's face it, neither is Billy Joel. Also around the car you get these sort of titanium sort of skid plates, alluding to its pseudo SUV pretensions, but it is just a front wheel drive car. Gone are the days where traditional family cars are things like Astras, Golfs and Escorts. They're now this sort of crossover style, but that's good because it gives you everything that people like about sort of like the SUVs without going to the expense of buying a full one. So you get the nice elevated driving position, making it nice and easy to get into. The Soul's boxy shape gives it a nice interior space, so you'd expect boot space to be good. Well, yes and no. It's okay, but it does trail the Niro quite a bit. You see, the Niro has a boot space of 451 litres, whereas the Soul is just 315, so it is quite a bit down. The shape itself is nice and boxy, however, and you've got nice underfloor storage for your charging cables and a removable parcel shelf, and you can also use the split fold rear seat, so you will get most things in here, just not big bulky items like a piano. Man. But that boxy shape lends itself quite well in the back because there's a decent amount of headroom, and legroom is very good too. As you can see, there's 2 ISOFIX points, and we've got my daughter's child seat located in here, and they're nice and easy access. One of the gripes that I don't like on some cars is you're really struggling to find them and you're marking the leather trying to push them in, but these ones are pretty good. It's got a reasonably flat floor as well, but the only real downside I would see from a 6-year-old daughter's point of view is there's no USB port back here to plug her iPad in, and there's no folding armrest with cubby holes for her to put all the bits and pieces that an uptown girl like her might need. Now, just with the other cars in its range, you've got to applaud Kia for its use of nice quality materials in here. The dashboard, centre console, the door cards and the seats are much nicer than the quality materials than you get in something like the Hyundai Kona Electric. And also as well, the style is quite interesting too. You've got a much better integration of this 10.25 inch touchscreen in the Soul than you do in the e-Niro. It's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto comes as standard, as well as DAB radio and Bluetooth. There isn't really any trim levels in the Soul, it's just this one trim, that's it. Everything comes on as standard, and that includes a fantastic Harman Kardon audio system, probably one of the best I've seen in a car at this price point, if I'm honest. You get heated seats, you get heated steering wheel, you get all the raft of safety equipment that we've been used to, lane keep assist, radar guided cruise control, it's got a head-up display, it's just a raft of things here, and the storage is really good. Unlike the rear, you've got, as I say, this wireless charging pad here for your mobile, you've got cup holders here, we've got a big armrest in there, we've got bins down here, big door bins there, a nice easy access glove box in there. but also the seats themselves are really supportive and very comfortable if you're doing a long trip. I mean, you really can spend the longest time in the Soul. Tesla, it should be a given that it's the Korean cars you need to look at. Range and efficiency is what you're after. I took a Kia e-Niro to Cornwall on holiday last year and it was just sublime at doing the trip. WLTP figures suggest 280 miles is achievable, but even so, 250 is not without reach, but it's the efficiency in which the cars do it, and range anxiety could be a thing of the past with one of these. It's all about keeping the faith. Now, unlike the e-Niro and the Kona Electric, you only get one size of battery with the Soul, which is the 64 kilowatt hour one. Charging is done through this port in the nose, and it has the standard CCS charger fitted. So from a rapid 50 kilowatt charger, you're going to be topping up to 80% in just over an hour, and from your 7 kilowatt home wall box, it's 9.5 hours from empty to full. Now, like the Kona Electric and the e-Niro, the Soul produces 201 brake horsepower. So it's quite brisk for a 5-door family car. Okay, it's not going to be troubling GTIs or Type Rs, but you know, 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds, well that's enough for the baby to shake the baby's bottle, I would suggest. And it's instantaneous torque as usual with electric cars, so as soon as you put your foot down, off it goes. Now you've got 3 driving modes as is the norm: Eco, Normal and Sport, and well, pretty much the names give the games away there. So in Sport you've got a much sharper throttle response. Eco starts to shut everything down so you get maximise your range, but given the range potential with the Soul, I just don't really see ever using that unless you're really just stuck, you've chanced your luck and you're just trying to get to that charger with the last few miles remaining. And again, like the others, you can adjust the brake regeneration via the 2 paddles behind the steering wheel, where you can go from 1 to being its least aggressive right up to 3 being the most aggressive. It's not quite one pedal driving that you get in something like the Leaf, but it's pretty good, and it's a nice retardation, and once you get used to it, it's very easy to modulate your throttle application with it. The steering's got quite a nice feel to it too, which is quite a surprise in some respects, because I say it's not really set up to be a sporty car, but it's got a nice weight to it. The only downside is obviously with the raft of safety equipment that these cars come with, when you've got something like the lane keep assist on, the downside is as you wander too close to that white line, you can feel the steering kind of tug away at you. A bit like my dad used to when I was learning to drive, he'd lean across and move the wheel. That's sort of how it feels like, but you soon get used to it. Personally, I just turn them all off. You can do that down here via these buttons. You can just turn everything off. It's also got the radar guided cruise control, cross traffic alert as well, and again most of the safety systems that you've come to expect that we get with EVs these days. But as I say, the nice thing is you can turn them off. The only downside is, like the other cars in the range, when you press the button, if you stop the car and you start it again, they come back on. You've got to go into the menus and really shut them all down. Still, never mind, that's one of these things. Where the Soul really does win, like the Niro, is in its actual refinement. Now, that was one of the things that surprised me with the Kona. There was an awful lot of road noise from the Kona, a lot of wind noise. You don't get it from the Soul or the Niro. They're much better at suppressing the outside ambient noises that come to the fore with no engine noise to listen to. And despite the bluff shape, the Soul handles it really, really well. And I really like that. I took the car in quite a long motorway drive last week, and bar those really horrible concrete sections of the M25 that would flummox something like a Rolls-Royce Phantom even, it really was such a lovely companion to do quite a long drive in it. And that's like the Niro. Both of them really do that well. The Kona, not quite so good. Now, talking of comfort, let's talk about the suspension of the car, and what they've done with the Soul. In the other markets where you've got the internal combustion engine cars, they have a torsion beam rear end. Now, that's not brilliant, if I'm honest with you. It's quite an old-fashioned suspension setup, and it does feel it. Whereas the electric, like we get, because of packaging reasons, because the batteries are underneath and you've got to package them better, it gets a multi-link system. Now the upside is it really gives it a great comfort in terms of its ride quality. The dampers are nice, the body roll's kept well in check considering sort of like the height of the car, and a lot of that is down to that multi-link rear end. So I'm glad that they didn't go changing to try and please me. I like it just the way it is. Now, as I said earlier, the car only comes in one trim level, which is this first edition car, and that's coming in price-wise at £34,295 after the government's plug-in car grant, which is applicable at the time of filming. There's no really other options to choose from, save for the colours, as I said earlier. Don't ask me why that is. I'm just an innocent man, after all. So what else might you be considering if you're looking at something like the Soul? Well, obviously you're going to look at the Hyundai Kona Electric and possibly as well the e-Niro. But bear in mind, latter quarter this year, we're going to start seeing the new Skoda Enyaq coming onto the market, which uses Volkswagen's MEB platform, and that could be quite a force to be reckoned with. There's obviously more conventional looking cars which are available, such as the Hyundai Ioniq and Nissan Leaf, but I've got to be honest and say they don't offer the driving experience nor the style of the Soul. Now that might be a controversial view, but hey, we didn't start the fire. So here's what we like and what we don't like about the Kia Soul Electric. We like its styling, its comfort, its refinement, the warranty package, and its quality of build. We don't like the limited model range. The boot isn't as big as you'd think, and the lack of armrest, storage and USB ports in the rear for a family car. You know, given how much we like the e-Niro and the Hyundai Kona Electric, it was probably going to be a bit of a given we'd have the same appreciation for the Soul. All three cars offer you something fantastic, which is probably the best range in class, brilliantly refined drivetrain, huge equipment levels, great warranty package, all wrapped up in a nice 5-door family car. But then my wife said to me, which one would I actually prefer to take away on a holiday again? And I just had to tell her about it. It's the Soul for me. I've got to be honest with you, I prefer the more interesting styling, and it just gives me that over the rather bland Niro, which is the only chink in that car's otherwise excellent armour. The Kona doesn't quite have the same drivetrain and refinement and wind suppression that the other two have. So it's this one. Would you be foolish to choose one of the other two, however? No, not at all. All three cars are fantastic, and hey, it's all rock and roll to me. Thanks for watching AutoEV. We hope to see you again soon. You know, I don't think I even like Billy Joel. So, you've watched our video. It's now my job to tell you to like and subscribe and press the little bell button to receive notification of when our next video is uploaded. Sorry, what's that? You want more than just videos? Okay, did you know that AutoEV is also a website? That's right, autoev.co.uk. Not only is it all the latest news, reviews and musings, including motorsport from the electric vehicle world, but we've got literally hundreds of used electric vehicles for sale from dealers up and down the country.